in KURV. We were hoping when we contemplated it yesterday that there would be something in the news today about the proposed immigration reform package up in Washington, but they're keeping it close to the vest. Not sure why. Don't know who's doing what to whom. We had a great interview with a woman named Tamar Jacoby of the Immigration Works USA organization, which really works with small businesses, people who are users of, if you want me to put it that way, users of immigrants. They employ immigrants. And it's a short interview, 6 minutes, but we packed a lot into it because today is our first year anniversary, and Roy Martinez, who we thought was going to be in Brownsville, so that's why Kennedy said he was in Brownsville. So
yeah, and you said you're going to bring some tacos. But his tacos over there are better.
It's a bottomless pit.
Thanks.
So we'll play it tomorrow. Maybe there'll be some news to hang it on.
I'm going to post it on our Facebook page.
We're going to put it on the Facebook page. We'll play it tomorrow because there's no reason not to. It's good enough, and the thing's not going to go away. The pivot seems to be, or the person who has to be pleased in this is Marco Rubio, because he is the bridge to the right-wingers, and he is the one who's been pretty set in stone about do they get, when I say legalized, that means they can't be picked up and deported right away. They can get legal status, which is not the same thing as being on the road to citizenship. Legal status to me means you just can't deport them. They can come out of the shadows, as people say. But that's separate and apart from do they get to be citizens. They're going to eventually put them on like a decade-long path to citizenship, I think. Everything I've read is that way. But that's all I'm going to say about that.
Let's shift gears into...
I'm shifting gears in my mind.
Yesterday we spoke with...
What are you doing?
I'm trying to open up the
camera.
camera.
There's no texting at the table.
I'm trying to open up the camera app so I can take a picture of Sonia because she's dressed up nice.
There's no texting at the table, son.
But we're going to talk with the candidate for Commissioner 6.
District 6, McAllen City Commission. The district abandoned by Jim Darling when he ran for mayor, and who knew, got in without an opponent. There are two opponents. We had one on yesterday, Veronica Vela-Whitaker, and we welcome Sonia Falcon to our microphone. How are you?
I'm doing great, Davis. Good to be here.
You're a loan officer. What's your title, I should say, at Lone Star Bank?
I am a senior vice president in commercial lending at Lone Star National Bank.
Oh, whoa.
Well, so you have lots of time on your hands these days, right?
Oh, yeah.
No?
No.
That's what you're going to say.
Lone Star is a very busy bank.
Yes.
Well, indulge me. Do you see any inflation on the horizon anywhere?
Well, down here in the valley, we've been pretty blessed because of the foreign investment that we get to kind of shield ourselves from inflation. And sometimes, here in the valley, we forget about the rest of the country because we're very involved with just our industry here. But, I think it's coming. It has to come. It's part of the economy. So I think that we're going to see some, but probably not in the very near future.
Is that your building that right there on Nolana?
On Nolana,
right
yes,
next
the corporate
to
headquarters.
The Rincon Apartments?
Yeah.
That's where I live.
It's next to
I've always wanted to go in there.
Well, now you can vote in my district.
See, I guess I will have to.
You better be registered.
Can you give me a tour around your offices?
Absolutely.
I've always been so curious.
And show where the money is?
I can show you the vault.
Can you?
I'll let you roll around in the money.
Well, that answers who I'm voting for.
We'll post that on our Facebook page. Well, it brings me to my first question. What qualifies you to serve on the McAllen City Commission?
Davis, for the past 21 years, I've been in banking, and I've got a lot of financial experience. But more importantly, to serve the city, you have to understand the city. And I've been serving on planning and zoning. I was chairman for 8 years of the Planning and Zoning Committee, and I served on the Zoning Board of Adjustments also. And because we lost some experience of planning and zoning commissioners, they asked me to come back and serve on planning and zoning. So actually, I just got done with my P&Z meeting and headed over here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Any news that you need to make about your planning and zoning meeting? No?
No, just a typical day.
I'm going to do what I did yesterday, just kind of jump around on some questions. The McAllen Civic Center is at the corner of South 10th Street and the Expressway, and the city's building a performing arts center. And they're going to be meeting, the commissioners will be meeting with 3 candidates who want to purchase that property. And I assume this will be behind closed doors. Do you have a view as to what should go there and what it should look like?
The corner of the Expressway and 10th Street is a high commercial area. And I think that if you know anything about our valley, is that the three most important entities impacting our area are government, medicine, and retail. And so, when the general fund constitutes $142 million, and out of that money, the majority of the ad valorem taxes are only $30 million, and the rest is sales tax. And that sales tax is what allows us and gives us a cushion to be able to provide a good quality of life for our citizens. If you shop around in the valley, if you're looking to move into the valley, if you look at our property taxes, the reason McAllen has maintained a low property tax, it's because we've been very good stewards of our money, and our founding fathers always had good planning for the city. And so I think that, it is going to be behind closed doors. I wish I was a fly on that wall. But, I think that they've done a lot of good things so far. I don't think that they're going to steer us wrong this time either.
So, well, some people like me have said that it should be something attractive. It should be really pretty because that's a gateway to the city. Whether that returns as much money as some other proposal, I don't know because we haven't seen them, right?
Well, I haven't seen a gateway in the center. That area is strictly retail. It is a very congested corner. I have seen a motorcycle accident happen right before my eyes there, waiting for the light, and it is very dangerous too. So the congestion there, and I think there's a lot to be said with having something beautiful for the city. I think Quinta Mazatlan, I wish it wasn't so hidden, is a beautiful gateway to the
place.
city. And I think that we can expand on that for people to do something to see it. But to say that this area, would be better served to be pretty instead of profitable is probably not the right location for that. I think that, yes, the city needs some more beautiful spots. I think our convention center is one of the most beautiful spots in the valley, and in the valley, not just in McAllen. And I think that, we really need to think about the future economy, not just, the beauty of the trails that we have is because we're able to afford them for our citizens because of the sales tax.
The Monitor ran a couple of stories about your residency, and it said that you filed a ballot application saying you lived in District 6 and had lived there since September of 2011, but that you voted at least twice in District 3. I guess your parents' address. I don't know where District 3 is, but saying what you can't have it both ways is what it's
right.
One way or the other. You've done something wrong.
Well, I live in District 6. Okay, I live in District 6.
Which goes from the country club in El Rancho all the way north.
It goes south of Nolana all the way down to the levee, all the way to the country club,
Holy
which is,
cow.
yeah, it's a long stretch. And then the east and west borders are 10th Street and Jackson. So it's a really nice rectangle if you look at it. And District 6 has got around 10,000 registered voters. They've last election when Jim Darling ran with Pepe Cabeza de Vaca, it was sad that only 1,400 voters turned out of 10,000 people. So, and that's one district. And so I think that, the city, I'm real proud that the city secretary is actually holding some voter registration drives at City Hall, and they're rotating it around to the different centers, to try and get more people engaged in this election. And it's hard because we don't have a mayoral election. So, it's difficult to drag people out to get them to vote. But this is, you were asking me about P&Z earlier, and we had the veterans come in for asking for a conditional use permit for a VFW post. And they remind us every time they come and ask for a permit, that freedom isn't free and that they vote and that, we all need to vote. And so, I respect people, but ability to vote and to get out there. But I live in District 6 to answer your question.
So you do not.
I do not live anywhere else. I live in District 6.
You mentioned the mayoral vote. Why didn't you just run for mayor since you could? I was telling.
Yes, Veronica that too.
Let me
by
tell
the
you,
way.
no, and that is
it's true. Why didn't you just wait, take the paper from Jim, and say I'm going to win?
Kennedy, that is a wonderful question, and
Is
I'll
it
tell
going
you
to lead
why.
up to it?
Well, I'll tell you. You have to have experience. Okay, I didn't wake up and say, well, I don't have kids. I don't, I don't have a dog. I don't have a cat. Therefore, I should be a city commissioner.
You have to have money to run for mayor.
You have to have
even
money.
because it takes so much time.
She knows where the vault is.
I know where the vault is.
Lone Star.
But, you have to prepare yourself. And I
Mm.
think I've done a good job, with 21 years of banking experience in commercial lending and also 10 years of serving the city. I always think of it this way, okay? It's like learning to play chess. You have to know how to set up the board. You have to look at the board and you have to know how to set up the pieces in order to move those pieces to make them work so that you can win. And so, you have to prepare yourself and you have to learn how to set those pieces up so that you can move forward.
Mm.
You can't just open up a board and say, okay, now I know how to play chess,
Mhm.
And so I think I've prepared myself, with the experience that I've had, not only with the city, but also volunteering in organizations, civic organizations with United Way, with Palmer Drug Abuse, with Mujeres Unidas, all different types of all different types of organizations, and the one I've been involved with the most is Vamos, and we just had our golf tournament a couple weeks ago, and we raised close to $800,000 for scholarships, and it makes a big difference.
Was there gambling going on? Is that how y'all do it?
Well, I still haven't learned after 17 years. I have not learned how to play golf.
You're
And
not
you
missing
can
anything if I-
you can tell
That's
by
the
my tan,
toughest
right?
sport in the world. It's the toughest sport.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. I'm just good at raising money and getting people to go. And I can't believe what golfers will play to play golf.
Which would you mention is quite considerable.
It's a
when
fever. You're right. When it gets them, boy, it gets them good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough sport. But when I first moved to this area, I think it was in 2009, end of 2008, Lone Star National Bank didn't have as many banking facilities as it does now. It's grown exponentially in the last 4 years. So, I mean, a testament to the work that you've
They
done.
just got cheap loans to go build buildings. That's what it amounted to.
No, it really
Time
has
was
grown a
right.
lot. I had that bank when I first moved down here because it was right there and I didn't have a car and everything. So I would get my check and I'd walk it over. And it was real friendly people and everything. But it's grown so much.
What you do now is you should cash your check,
What?
cash your check, and then you buy money orders.
It's not about me.
That's
Hold on.
how you pay.
Shift back to Sonia. Yeah.
Oh. Well, back to serious issues. What do you have an opinion about what the city should or shouldn't do with Water District 3?
Let me tell you something, Davis. What I've learned, and we had a whole class in my leadership, Texas Lyceum leadership class about water. Okay, water is the next liquid gold, and it is the liquid gold. And when you think about cities' growth, we cannot grow without water. Okay, water is not a District 6 issue. It's not even a city of McAllen issue. It's a state and national issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so we need to start thinking about this very seriously because without water, we can't grow without it. And so when we start fighting each other about how to get the water, then that is a local problem, and we need to fix that. Now, how we fix it, I think we need to work with our state officials to make sure that what is the plan going forward. I'm glad to hear that Governor Perry is going to start having talks through the Lyceum, through our referral about strategizing
They-
about what we're going to do
A
for the
statewide
future.
water plan.
Right, exactly. We cannot build our way out of this one. There's no
No.
way. We have to conserve water. I think the city does a good job, but in talking to constituents, they get upset because they say, the people on the south side have real pretty yards, and I have to conserve water in my yard, and plants are important to people. So I think that we need to keep studying the
People on the south side have pretty lawns because they have worse dirt on the north side. That's why.
We're going to take
Who
a break.
knew?
We're going to take a break real quick. We'll continue the conversation with Miss Sonia Falcon up next on 710 KURV. I put your Facebook page and your website, which is voteforsonia.com, voteforsonia.com. You can find that on our Facebook page.
It's 5:54, so we're almost out of time. But we got one more question left for our guest, Sonia Falcon, who is a banker with Lone Star Bank and is running for place 6 on the McAllen City Commission. What do you regard as the biggest problem or opportunity or conundrum for the city of McAllen?
I think that McAllen is poised for many opportunities. I think with this medical school coming, we're right in the heart of it. And, I'll just give you a quick story, and it's just really short. One of our Vamos students graduated from Yale. It's a medical school. He's getting his degree in gastro-oncology and
Gastro-oncology?
yes, stomach cancer.
Who knew such?
And he's also getting a PhD to do research. And he wants to come home. Where do we put him?
So he can be bored down here?
No, because he has a lot of test subjects down here.
Wow.
And so, he wants to find a cure. He wants to know why Hispanics are leading the nation in gastro cancer.
I had no idea.
Wow.
And so he wants to come and do this research here. But where do we put him?
What if they decide it's barbacoa?
Well, that's a lifestyle
tacos.
change, but they could find that out. But, with this medical school, this young man will have an opportunity to come down here.
And he's probably not the only one.
No. And we have many other Vamos students that, because of the careers that they've chosen, they don't have an opportunity here. And so this medical school is a perfect example of the choices that experience will help us make. And I think that, the city has to match the future needs and the strengths that we have with the future opportunities that will be given. And so we need to work together to get that done. And not just McAllen, but Edinburgh, Harlingen, Brownsville. We need to start thinking regionally.
You mentioned something in the very beginning when we first started talking about making, of course, McAllen beautiful, but also making it profitable. I guess to play a little bit of cynicism, do you think that the school that can come down this way is going to maintain its profitability?
I think that you will be surprised that the Valley is the gateway to the rest of the United States. Okay, so you're talking about all of Latin America coming in through the Rio Grande Valley. And if we have a major medical university here, we are where San Antonio was 20, 25 years ago, and we can poise ourselves to get ready to become the next San Antonio, if not better.
Well, you can find out more about Sonia Falcon at her website, Vote for Sonia. It's on her Facebook page, facebook.com/710KURV. She also has a Facebook page, so you can go on there and send her some comments. I'm sure she'll get those and respond to them quite quickly.
Just no F-bombs. Thank you very much, Sonia, for being with us.
Thank you, Davis, and thank you, Kennedy.
Yes, ma'am.